Hey guys, we're at Walt's Barn live steamer. Here we are at Walt's Barn at Griffith Park. It's near the live steamers and also around the travel town park at Griffith Park. Inside the barn is one or two mini trains that Walt has built. When he was at the studios, he would have his engineers teach him how to use all the equipment so that he can build his own trains. He built his own railroad in his backyard and opened it up to the public on Sundays. He actually built the property for the train, bought the property for the train, and then built the house on the property. During the weekends, people would come and ask to ride on his train, and he had to actually open up his driveway and create a parking lot. So you can see that that was probably the start of the actual amusement parks coming to mind. So inside the barn we have a couple little trains. We also have some pictures and documentation about what Walt used to do at his barn. So let's take a little ride on the live steam trains, and it'll be about 15 minutes worth of interesting track time. Walt's barn, it was originally on his property near Bel Air. He actually built it. Here's Julie. It's a nice quiet day on Sunday. Oh. Look, they got this little train out today.
It was near Bel Air. It is now in Los Angeles near Griffith Park.
Hi, welcome to Walt's Barn.
Thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, it's coming around. See if you really like
You guys didn't know Walt loved trains.
Oh, here's some useful facts. Are you ready, Julie?
Are you going to talk?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, hang on. Talk loud enough.
Here's
So
the
what are
useful.
you going to talk about?
This train right here.
Oh. Okay, talk while I do this. Okay, go.
Okay, if this is Walt's train, he probably built it himself. And what he did was, he tinkered around a lot. He had the engineers at the studio teach him how to use all the equipment so he can build trains. If you didn't know that. And that was before they were Imagineers, they were just the engineers. I believe so.
You didn't really talk loud enough.
Oh.
There's too many trains. They're taking over the world.
John is here in the pit.
Next year I will be doing 2 weeks very fun, like doing part of the design. I've never gone there. I've always there's so many parks in LA. That's one of the ones that's old school, right? Yeah, train. Yeah, it's been around forever.
It's
been around longer. It's been around
so fast.
Yeah, like all of
Hello. I was making
It's called North. And so people would be able to communicate sound and stuff. If it was with a long dot, it would be one letter. With a short dot, with a dot, with a long silent, then it would be another. I remember it from my voice again, but I don't remember how to read it, how to sound it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, looks like the train broke down. Oh no, it's backing up. No, it's going forward.
What you're looking at here looks like a railroad car, but it's really a bright yellow and green time machine. So we're going to take you first back.
Does it have a flex capacitor?
It does not have a flux capacitor. It's got something else. It's got imagination.
Oh, that's even better.
We're going to take you back about 100 years. Car very much like this one, standing on the rails in Missouri. That's from the Missouri Pacific. Young man is reporting for his first day of duty. He's got a spiffy uniform on. He's got a stack of newspapers and some sodas and candy and tobacco. He's going to load them on here because his job as a news butcher is to sell these things as the train goes back and forth. So he goes back and forth and sells his candy, or he climbs over the tender and learns how to run a steam engine from the engineers. But a lot of his time he spends on his breaks in a combine just like this. It combines freight and passenger service. So now we're going to skip forward about 40 more years. We'll even give you a specific date, July 17th, 1955. This very car pulls into Main Street Station at Disneyland on opening day. Right in front of it is engine number 2, the EP Ripley. At the controls, Walt Disney, being ably assisted by his friend Mickey Mouse. And also in the tender with him are Goodwin Knight, the governor of California, and Fred Gurley, the president of the Santa Fe Railroad, which was one of the sponsors of the Disneyland Railroad at the time. If you've seen pictures of that day, Walt is smiling like it's the happiest day of his life. And other than marrying Lillian, I think we're pretty close there. So regular service through the early 60s, and in just occasional service on wet days through the 70s, finally fully retired and put into storage at the Roundhouse. But I will say this was Walt's favorite car because of the history. Because when he was a boy, he rode in one and said, when I build my train, the one with that little amusement park in the middle, it's going to have a combo. This was built right down the street from us here at the studio, on the same sound stage where they filmed 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I'm told there was water dripping down from the ceiling because, as they say in the business, that was a wet set. But it was built by studio carpenters and artists. Other than the rolling gear underneath there, that's commercial. Everything else was built at the studio.
Thank you, Art.
All right. So John and Ollie were sitting at this dinner, and John asked Ollie, "Well, have you run your engine, the Marie E, recently?" And Ollie got really sad. He said, "Well, we had to sell the property and leave the engine behind, and I don't think the people who bought the property, know how to run or want to run the engine. I wish somebody would, take her who could run her." And John kind of gave a side look to his wife Nancy, and she rolls her eyes. And John says to Ollie, "Would you sell her to me?" "Ooh, yeah." And John kind of looks at Nancy and says, "Whatever." So John ended up with the Marie E. But the story doesn't end there. Through a little collusion between John and the folks at Disneyland and the folks at Carrollwood, they got Ollie down to Disneyland to give him an award because he was one of the people who helped bring Walt back into trains. And so they had him at the New Orleans Square station, and in his wheelchair, his back is to the tracks, and they hear a whistle. Right? And he thinks, okay, it's just one of the Disneyland engines, but then they turn them around, and here comes the Marie E steaming up. The only at the time non-Disney engine to run on those tracks. They had rigged a special seatbelt for him because he was very infirm, out of some seatbelts off of the Matterhorn, and they helped Ollie up into the seat. And people who were there, I wasn't sadly, say that 40 years just dropped off of Ollie. He took those controls, took the Marie E around 3 times on the tracks. And so it was great to see Marie E back at Disneyland again, along with Ward Kimball's engine, Chloe. Ward had 2 narrow gauge engines that he ran in his backyard, the Grizzly Flats Railroad. Those 2 and the small excursion car that they had at the soft opening are now down at the Orange Empire Railway
Paris,
Museum in Paris.
Yeah. We saw that, yeah.
So although Chloe, I believe, is off for a refurb, because Chloe was actually not under steam. Marie E pulled the 2 of them around at the soft opening.
Okay, so that was the 2. Okay.
And Emma Nevada, Ward's other engine, is also in pieces for restoration down in Paris.
That's so. We're gonna keep walking.
Ven, honey.
Oh, is it the thing that makes the train track or something?
Actually, that signal is a message. These are not the trains that we're going to be riding.
Super.
Actually, that signal is a message. It's called Morse code. So people would be able to communicate with the sound. Here is the train depot ticket booth for the live steamers. And here's the line. Donations $3 for adults. Here's Julie. What are you doing, Julie?
Waiting.
live steamers for Griffith Park, not affiliated with the county or Griffith Park, all made out of volunteers. Pulling into the station. Actually, that signal is a message. It's called Morse code.